And welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. We are back yet again. Another Saints stream, going to be the varsity Overwatch 2 team. I guess Overwatch, same thing. Number 2 of the game, same team though, taking on Full Sail Armada, week 3 of the NACE Starleague. The Saints sitting at 1-0, Full Sail sitting at that 0-1. Both teams, they've had a bye already, so that explains that extra gap. But Jobin and Fundy are here. We are here to break down the action for you.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 coming back. It's been a minute since I've been on here for some Overwatch. Excited to get back into it. Truthfully, not expecting too much to change in terms of the meta and stuff. Overwatch 2 kind of has found its spot, although I'm still under the impression that the switch to 5v5 was insane for the health and the overall observability of the game as well. But both these teams coming in, we've got Saints, they're 1-0. They took a 3-0 victory in their second week because they had the bye that first week. Full Sail actually took a loss to, I believe it was Kansas. They're 3-2. So fairly close matchup there in the end. That was in their first week. They had a bye second week. And here we are in week 3, 1-0 versus 0-1. First map coming in here, gonna be Lijiang Tower. A classic start. I mean,
we talked about the Valorant Collegiate Special with Bind Descent and Haven. Basically, Overwatch, it's going to be some amalgamation of Lijiang, Route 66, Kings Row, maybe Circuit Royale or Para-ESO, depending on if you like your push maps or not. But a lot of those teams, not really going to be too big of a fan of some of those push maps. But we are getting underway with Lijiang. Going to be this first point. Going to be Shiroi, Fenrir, Ditto, Wizard, Conviction, and Karma. And then that same Saint squad, Red XR, Junk, Squeak, Crime, and Emerin.
Yeah, might just have to opt to call Cassidy there, just Fenrir for the sake of timing.
For the sake of my sanity.
It's looking like a pretty solid hold here to start zoning these players off. Squeak finishes off Fenrir there with that Fire Strike, and as the headshots start to come through, it's looking like this first point could go all Saints' way. Look at the headshots coming through. Redix on the Lucio. I'm already seeing him there in the kill feed. We all know how much of a DPS Lucio Redix loves to play.
Yeah, Redix plays a battle Lucio, and he plays it quite well. And this is one thing the Saints love to do on Lijiang. They love to win this first fight or two. They try to get the enemy back in spawn, and then they go to Lurk City, just like Emerin gets going on that blast pack. He's going to try to go dive that backline. The Saints do such a good job just drawing those eyes, drawing those attention. Emerin still just laying down that cover fire. Going to be 80% for that Riptire. And right now, Full Sail trying to go through this backline, trying to find some way to at least get close to this point.
One thing that's interesting, too, is that Baptiste pick coming through from Arjunk is actually going to drop the window the second he gets that up as well. Yeah, I know. Comes in as there's even a Riptire up for the side of Emerin. Both DPS got their ultimates up now. Deadeye and Riptire online, but look at how well they're just keeping these players off the point. You see Karma there. Everyone's kind of playing on the other side of this Riptire there. It is going to come out, but the Deadeye there and the kills just keep going all the way towards the Saints. Ditto's going to come out and win the Junkrat 1v1, actually. But that immortality field from Arjunk just keeping these players alive for a little bit longer, and we're about to crack 60% here.
Yeah, Baptiste always going to be one of those good brawler types, using that immortality field to that good AoE healing. And Arjunk, I mean, this is his signature hero, basically. This has been basically his one trick on that Saints varsity team, so he's always going to be confident on that pick. Full Sail, they're going to go a little more, I guess, meta with that Lucio Kiriko, rather. However, they are going to fall where they stand. However, they are going to have more checks than the Nike store to try to get this next fight going, but they're going to have to find some really big value because they're already at 82%, 3 members down, and this point isn't going anywhere.
5 ultimates. If there's any push you could make it happen, it's this one. You've got Emerin there coming off the respawn as well. He's going to switch onto that Widowmaker, so very, very different pick from that Junkrat, but Redx just playing like an absolute snake on this Lucio like usual.
Squeak just took the other Reinhardt off the map 1-for-1.
Might as well. Get rid of the tank. You know you can count on your DPS to make it happen, but
look at Redx.
Can you really? Because this combination of that Lucio Kiriko, they have the ability to take this point, but Emerin, if you're not going to be contested on this Widowmaker, Emerin is going to start clicking heads. Crime finishing off a lot of these, but chunks of damage coming through from this Widowmaker. Can't save Squeak in the end, though, but the capture is coming back through 99%. That should be round 1 done and dusted here for the Saints. Overtime Can they hold it is the question, though. It's just conviction left on that point.
Yeah, Tracer going to go down. That is Fenrir going to fall off there. The Saints should be able to ride out the rest of this point. They will do just that. And Full Sail, they had a little bit of a nice fight toward the end there. They got some of those ultimates online, but ultimately it was just a little bit too late. That Saints team, they got off to that blazing start that we're used to seeing. They sent Red X to the back line. They sent Crime to the back line. Emerin busting out the Widowmaker in that small area as well, just realizing, hey, I'm going to take off these heads. I'm going to find a way to get this done. And now we're going to see Full Sail make some kind of adjustment at least. We're going to see the Somber and the Ball. So Ball, for people that do not know, a lot of HP now after that last patch. I think he has the highest health pool in the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. So Ball definitely going to be rising up in the meta, rising up in those choices. The ultimate stall tactic, basically. The Saints are going to mirror that on the other side. They're going to opt for that Symmetra Widowmaker, though.
Karma just can't hit that basket there and spawn so close, but yeah, like you said, the Ball is a much stronger pick now, and we're already seeing some different DPS come out. We did see, I think it was Fenrir who actually switched to the Tracer last time, but it's Ditto who's going to be on it here. Emerin, first pick comes through. He's back to full health immediately, but can he make it out? He's kind of stuck on that other side of the river with the rest of that team. Crime, so quick with these Tracer kills. Make it a triple follow-up on that Ball. You've got this Zenyatta Orb of Harmony there as well. You're right back to 150. You can dive as deep as you want.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. When Ball becomes meta, Tracer and Sombra are going to start seeing a whole lot more play. Dive on those back lines. If you're Sombra, hack all those health packs. And I mean, Sombra, not in a hero we've seen too much. Tracer has been in a very strong spot for the last couple months. She got a buff a little while ago, and she has been definitely up in one of those meta picks. You can see Squeak trying to get a little bit cheeky on the back line here. And this is what the Ball does, especially on a map with lots of environmental hazards. You swing around in circles. You try to catch the enemy off guard. He's going to get a bunch of free damage pumped into this back line. The Saints, though, they have to help out on the front side of things. Crime and Emerin, though, those two DPS we always mention time after time, finding a couple of those picks. Crime going to be just enough to walk away with his life, and the Saints looking to keep control here.
Yeah, perfect timing on that rewind to save himself there, and he's able to grab a health pack, find another wipe of this team, and Arjunk is right back to the team, even after falling pretty early in that fight. That's the beauty of that Kiriko teleport there. You can get right back in, start supporting the team once again, but these headshots to come through from Karma are going to slow down this hold a little bit. You've got 5 players up now. You're waiting on the push coming back. Ditto starts this dive. Squeak hacked and being chunked down, but look how much health that Ball has, Jogan. You said it yourself. Like,
you have to basically 4-man burst the Ball, otherwise he's going to get away and he's going to survive. Crime trying to get up close and personal here. He's going to have to hit that recall. Ball going to go off the map. He's going to send the pulse bomb. The mines come down from Squeak, so Wizard and Ditto both going to be down now. Fenrir trying to hack on this backline, and that's the thing with Sombra too. If you can't find the value in hacking that tank and getting him taken out, she just doesn't have quite the damage output some of these other heroes have, so she has to really play around that comp correctly. Full Sail, they're going to have an entire arsenal of ultimates. However, they do not have control at this point yet, and the Saints have a couple ultimates of their own in that back pocket.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Sombra. Once they took out the possibility of hacking a support and one-bursting them down with a clip, it became much more, you had to pick your targets much more intelligently there during the fights. Here's going to be the overtime contestation, but Squeak on this Ball, 1,000 health to his name after that beat drop as well, and he's just going to be able to roll around there through the middle, pop back over. He's able to contest this, actually stop the capture there, but look is happening.
910 health in the pool with his abilities.
Yeah, I mean, and then he's able to drop his own mines
and the mines
as
and
well.
they buffed it, so the mines actually release faster, and I believe they explode slightly faster too. So his ultimate got a buff on top of the HP pool buff. They used to take, like, he would pop the ultimate, it would take like a half second for the mines to actually disperse. Now it's pretty much instantaneously, and Arjunk is throwing hands instantaneously, finds a double melee kill to end off that round and end off that map as well. The Saints continue their dominance on Li Jiang, and I mean, they walk away with an easy map 1.
Can we talk about how long Squeak was alive there for? He was at
that's
70 health
at
one point, grabbed like 200 shield, or that, yeah, I believe the green counts as shield.
You can pull
correct?
armor and shield with the Ball through his abilities. He pulls from, like, there's like 4 quote-unquote health pools you can pull from, and he pulls from all 4.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, we saw it at one point. He had 1,000 health to his name and was just latched onto that middle pillar and spins and spins and spins. Yeah. And if you're like, let's say you're a DPS, let's say you're even like a Tracer who can get knocked off the map, rewind, and get back up, sure, he's still spinning, Squeak, still spinning, knocking everybody off of that point.
Listen, that's definition of, the ball meta. That's the ball meta in a nutshell. You watch Squeak, 4 members versus 1 on the point. He gets a little bit of healing from the Zenyatta, gets a little bit of help here and there. We are going to go to Paraiso. So I mentioned if teams like the push map 2 looks like Full Sail, the loser picks the map choice, so they're going to take it over to this push map. Push can be a 50-50 game mode for some teams.
Believe it? No, this one's capture payload, if I'm not mistaken.
Hybrid, yeah. Paraiso, you gotta you take the first point, then you go up through the favelas, So, but a lot of these teams, Paraiso, a lot of the maps with like hybrid or push are like 50-50 in the community. Some of the community, there's not really very good push maps. So some of the hybrid maps are a little bit better for some teams. Paraiso, going to be a lot of high ground. Expect to maybe see an Ashe, maybe see a Widow on the defense side of things. Offensively, I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw the ball again.
Yeah, and we saw Emran really comfortable on the Widow there, pretty confident in picking that, not only at the end of the first round, but for pretty well half of that second round as well. Emran's just kind of chilling on that Widow, letting the snipes come through. And while not even finding a crazy amount of picks, the damage that is able to come through and then a couple shots from a Tracer to finish it off or a tap from the ball, right? It's that supporting your team as well. Even if you're not finding the one-shot picks that Widow's known for, still doing a ton. And you talk about Paraiso, you talk about those high rooftops. Hanzo, Widowmaker, especially on that first defense point, is huge.
Yeah, maybe see something like the Pharmacy, although for this first point, I would actually be pretty surprised. But that's just said, there hasn't been enough hero changes to warrant like an entire meta shift. The ball definitely going to be one of the bigger shifts. Wouldn't expect to see Ramattra on this map. There's always a world where he could get played, but probably not going to see that. We're going to see a lot of the same. Going to see Ball, maybe something like the Orisa. She took some small nerfs, but still in that S tier of tank. So we're going to see a lot of the same choices. The Saints, though, one thing I will say, credit to them, when they feel like they have a good grip on the series, they like to kind of start to expand their horizons a little bit. That's a good way to put it. Start to play a couple of these other heroes. So, curious to see if they're going to play that same standard 5. And once they get to the point of like, okay, we have a grip on this, I want to see if they're going to have any, adaptations.
Yeah, and this is a map too that we rarely see as that second pick from a lot of teams. And this is coming. Keep in mind, loser picks. That's how Overwatch works, right? So this pick is coming from Full Sail. So we could even see. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You see the double sniper coming. I guess triple sniper technically, with that Ana there. But Full Sail aiming for the same comp. And considering they're starting on that attack, I'm not against it. Sombra Tracer can get onto that site, can find the picks when necessary, and clear out when you need to. And of course, keeping that ball in play. One thing I am interested to see is Squeak on the Zarya. Squeak is often plays tanks and other picks that aren't like considered the best, right? We saw him pick Reinhardt a lot when it was like Winston or bust in the meta, and we were seeing him comfortable in the Reinhardt. We saw it there on Lijiang as well. So I'm not against this Zarya pick, and I'm sure he'll find a way to make it valuable.
Yeah, the one thing with this team, too, the hero pool is fairly deep. We joke about Arjun kind of being that, like, one-trick Baptiste just because that's what he's famous for, but a lot of these players, they played 5-6 different heroes. Red X and Squeak. Red X found 2 solo kills there with the Brig, and Brig is another character, too. She's really... Brig is super reliant on the meta around her to make her good. Like, her kit isn't inherently bad, but she needs other things to be in a certain spot to really have that value she has. And I mean, the way Full Sail's comp is, basically this comp is get on the back line, take out Squeak some way, somehow, and we can cause enough chaos between the Tracer, between the Sombra. We have so much movement. We have that invulnerability. We have a lot of just, like, cringe annoyance in the back line, which can be very, very strong. However, if that ball goes down, they are very, very, very squishy, and they're going to have to find some way to find those quick picks.
Yeah, Wizard was able to shut down Red X, so that's a big chunk of, not damage, but just pressure gone from the Saints. But you see Squeak, 90 energy here on Zarya. The damage is just going to stack up. You pop that bubble onto Arjun, top up the energy just a little bit more, and Emran, even in close range with that ball, is able to shut him down. Just use the SMG version of those shots and get that last bit of damage in that's necessary. Crime even off of a death, able to just come back in. Hanzo's a great one on these rooftops too, because he can climb up to the top of any of those buildings, right? And then of course you've got that grappling hook there from Emran. And look at the chunk on this ball. We talked about how much health ball has. When you can do 200 in like one shot, now you get a nano to come through. This could be crazy. Emran gonna miss that first shot on the flying Lucio, but he is able to follow it up. Finish that one off. Squeak finding a kill himself as well. Emran, good for 2 in this fight. Can that ball make it out of the way? Wizard is going to make it back with his team there, but no progress to speak of from the side of Full Sail here on this attack.
Yeah, and one thing Arjunk actually makes, like, basically the perfect pick into the ball. You pick the Ana, you have the Nano for your other teammates, but you had that anti-heal, and Ana was one of those heroes as well. When Roadhog became super, super prevalent, especially because of his ability to heal himself, that was like 40% of his pool or something, you get that, the anti-heal from Ana, you toss that grenade down onto the ball, now you've basically crippled 80% of his kit, as long as you're able to focus fire after, send everything together, just like the Saints did right there, picking up that team kill. They just meticulously work piece by piece. Now we are going to see Full Sail on that Ramatra. They're going to try to maybe get that W key going. The only thing though, Ramatra with these four playing around him, they have to get action on the backline. If they take Sombra and Tracer and you're not working the backline, I mean, using those two characters to W key, you're asking to lose.
Ramatra, maybe they're thinking that like this drain to come through from Ramatra will be able to kind of brawl.
You gotta
out
get your
these
ultimate.
fights,
There's 50
but
seconds.
Yeah, you gotta grab it to begin with. I mean, it's a desperate switch in the last seconds here, but it's something that you gotta try out. You see that that ball is not working, but it's just solid defense here from the Saints. The damage coming through from both Emran and Crime there, and even Squeak, right? Just
I don't think Squeak is ulted.
Up close and personal. Look at him. Right corner here.
I literally don't think that he's ulted yet. Maybe he's now trying to set up the gravity. There he is. He's going to get a whole bunch of Full Sail members in there. He's going to get a 4-man gravity. The Dragons come just a little bit late there maybe, but the Saints at this point, you're playing for stall tactics. You have 20 seconds left. Full Sail is going to have that Kitsune rush. They did just use that beat drop though, so the one good thing the Saints got, you dropped the gravity, you forced out the beat. Yeah, the ball is now going to come play the stall tactics. Squeak going to be back in there. The Kitsune is going to come online as well. Karma and Wizard, they're going to be good for a couple kills there. Maybe Full Sail, this is the time. I mean, listen, this is the time they need to push because you are running out of game here. Oh, Crime going to find that flick headshot. Ditto going to get taken out. Now he's going to line up that Kiriko. Try to get going from the rooftops here. Lands that first arrow. Now it's all on Ramatra and Kiriko to try to keep this one alive. Kiriko trying to bounce off the walls. Crime is going to fall. We are in overtime though, and the Saints are mere moments away from potentially closing this round.
Yeah, I was about to say, theoretically, those are the only picks you need to take this point if you're Full Sail, but Squeak is back in time on that ball. Ramatra's coming through. There was a big EMP on the site as well, but look at Squeak right back in here. 1,100 health to his name right now, and what are you gonna do in terms of damage in that situation? How do you get rid of this ball?
Yeah, I mean,
how?
To be fair, this is one of the questions that a lot of teams, that's why I said you either play the Sombra and you have to find the consistent hacks, then use Tracer to set up a pulse bomb, set up the recalls, or you have to have an Ana that is on her A+ game to get that nano. You basically have to cut the ball's healing or the ball is not going to die, assuming any of the supports are starting to focus. The Saints did such a good job. They're playing that Ana, getting that anti-heal, focusing out the ball. And then when Ramatra got his ultimate at the end there, the Annihilation, it did actually get nerfed, so you can't like 4 or 5 minute ulti anymore. I think it's like 25 or 30 seconds it starts to cap.
So
but
it does have a cap.
Yeah, now it has a cap, but the second he pops it on that point, the Saints just vacated the point to the high ground and went, okay, well, let this timer stall. If you don't get drained, the timer's not going to keep ticking. The ultimate lasts 6-7 seconds, and they walk away with the round.
Yeah, I mean, you allow them one tick, and that's all you really care
like,
about. As long as they don't make that round win come through in that last second, in that overtime. Now, we're seeing a somewhat similar comp to come through. Ditto is going to pick up that Widowmaker there, so he's going to see if he can kind of provide that same role as Emran in the back. You already see him heading up to that same kind of
on defense
there.
I mean, yeah.
Fenrir actually makes the switch to Sojourn here, something we haven't seen them on just yet. They've pretty much just been playing Sombra and and Cassidy there all game.
Yeah, it's something that it sounds crazy to say because Sojourn was obviously so broken and to some degree is still very, very broken, but just the way the meta has kind of shifted now, I mean, you can't really one-shot the ball. However, like, if the ball's rolling, you cannot get that critical headshot with Sojourn. So some of the way the meta has shifted, Ramatra also very, very hard to find like that quote-unquote one-shot in. So Sojourn, while still definitely one of the stronger heroes, other Ditto, take out Red X early. Not going to be quite as broken as we've seen the last couple months.
Crime getting up close and personal here on this Hanzo, but when you've got Squeak right in front of you, you know he's going to be providing those barrier orbs for defense there, and the question is really just going to be how fast can this Zarya charge up energy, and can Crime find any picks to start it off here? But the picks are actually going all the way up for Full Sail right now as Ditto is able to come through with some good shots, and Wizard getting super up close and personal with this Ramatra. Saints not ready for this close quarters combat that Full Sail is kind of just taken out of nowhere.
And I mean, I actually love this from Full Sail, though, because you can't afford to. I mean, look where that tick is. If they even lose a full tick, they are going to lose this map and be down 2-0. So you have to make something happen. And this is Sombra Gaming, in case anyone doesn't know. You sit invisible, try to bait out the enemy team as much as possible, set up that hack. You know, they're on to Hammeren's tactics here, trying to get on the backline. He is going to find it, and Ditto is going to fall. So basically, Sombra plays in a nutshell there, taking out the DPS, now trying to work away at this Lucio. He's going to get a lot of chip damage, going to hit that fade away, and he's going to be safe.
Yeah, unable to make it a second there, but you are able to find that first pick, and look how much space that the Saints grabbed off of that. Fenrir's going to fall off of a great headshot from Crime there, and now Crime just gets to sit in the back, look for these picks. Look how fast that Ramatra disappeared. This round, looking like it could be over as this keeps ticking away. Saints find that second one, and that's gonna be it. Map 2, Paraiso. Basically a defensive shutout to come through from the Saints. The 2 ticks did come through in that overtime, but coming back in, the Saints, you need a minute or 2 to make that capture happen. Yeah,
my only regret is we didn't get to quite see those like TikTok Mario plays out of Red X, but the way he played in this first round, just clubbing all of Full Sail there. Ends up finding 2, like, solo kills too.
Yeah.
As Red X, as one support, walks down the support backline of Full Sail and quite literally beats them back into the spawn and says, we'll see you guys in 25, 30 seconds.
Yeah, while he's just, like, up close and personal there with Squeak, and then he's able to get all of those shield bashes off. A little bit of stuns come out as well. And keep in mind, during all of that, every time you're attacking somebody, every time he uses that flail, healing up his teammates.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's why Brig, it's like, if the comp works around her well, the kit itself isn't bad. It's just like, if you play a comp where it's like Pharah, Mercy, and kind of people flying everywhere, Brig's like kind of just isolated, standing on the ground, like, okay, like I can do my thing a little bit, but you have that support of either, like the Ball, the Ramasha. There's a couple other tanks that support very, very well. And we are going to go to Circuit Royale for this last map. So I will say this is a map the Saints, I think Montgomery County decided to go here last week. They didn't get very far out of the spawn. This is one map the Saints have played so well on Circuit Royale, so it's definitely an interesting pick, but always open to see if they can make something happen.
That's the thing. We've seen teams, especially going back to the end of last season in, I believe it was the Acti Blizz homecoming there. We've seen teams take the Saints to, I believe, overtime on this map, if I'm not mistaken, but we've also seen the Saints sit there and spawn trap on this map. And Circuit Royale, it's one of those ones where if you don't make it to that first checkpoint, you can just sit there and spawn for 4 minutes and, you know, just watch as your team falls every time you try to leave, regardless of ultimates, regardless of what happens. Once the setup is there, it's so hard to get rid of it. Yeah, there's a lot of Overwatch maps where if you get stuck in the setup, the rest of the map is pretty much going to be a disaster for you as things go. We are actually going to see a swap come through for the Saints, though. Grave now going to be playing, it looks like, in place of Arjunk there. So Arjunk, you know, he's a little more in that sometimes coach managing role. Sometimes he'll step back. Player coach, we like to say.
Gotta let the young guns fly on stage. So we are going to see Grave is going to be honoring Arjunk, though, with that Baptiste. Looks like Hover, at least for now. Full Sail going to be on the offense to kick things off, and this is going to be interesting. The Saints, as you said, they like to do this thing where the game starts, they go on top of the door that they spawn out of, set up the Symmetra turrets, basically try to lock down the tank ASAP, find that first kill, and then it's pretty much that snowball going to be rolling and rolling and rolling downhill. Full Sail, Sigma, going to be the right choice for Circuit Royale. This is what you need to try to get out of here. However, this Symmetra setup is always the kicker to start this round off.
Yeah, I think just about every team has started adopting that Sigma. We've even
for
seen
this map,
Squeak,
it's like a must.
We've seen Squeak play it a ton as well. Keep in mind, Squeak is also just insanely comfortable on that Reinhardt. And I believe Squeak could play it on any map, to be honest.
Reinhardt is like one of those champs, or one of those heroes, like, definitely not quite as good as he had used to be, but if you know how to use that character, I mean, Reinhardt can still find you immense time. I mean, listen, a giant hammer and a giant health pool and the Earth Shatter, always going to be fun. He finds the pin kill on Ditto too, and Crime going over the top with the Widowmaker, trying to find a couple shots. They're going to be low from that Sojourn, and Conviction can help finish things off there.
Yeah, kind of backed himself into a corner by flopping over that roof there, but he was able to find, I believe, Conviction, or wasn't able to finish off the kill at least, but stalled a little bit more time. There's a Symmetra teleport in the back. That's coming through from Emmerin there, but Conviction keeping the team topped up for now, but
look at Emmerin.
We're still at this point where they can't leave that initial right turn there on the highway, and it's so tough Because not to mention, once you finally make it past this turn and you're out of like the spawn trap, quote unquote, you have to play through one of the longest sight lines where you've got Crime sitting there on the Widowmaker, as well as Redex with that Discord Orb. We actually see...
Someone tell Redex he's playing support, too. This guy, the last 2 games, is... I think he might have had both play of the games as of this juncture.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Redex is like... we talk about the DPS Lucio. We saw it there on the Brig as well, and you throw it on someone like
solo
Zen.
shatter.
Squeak back to full health from that health pack as well. A quick 250 to his name there. What is going on? Crime with 2 picks to come through. Squeak using that charge, getting right up in there. Only takes about 100 damage after all is said and done, and we're right back to that spawn trap here, Jobin.
That's the thing. Full Sail actually played the beginning fairly decently, all things considered. The one thing, they didn't let Emran get off that back line for what I think is... This is what I was talking about. They like to get on top of the attacker side spawn, play on top of this rooftop. Now they're going to try to work their way down. Where Ditto going to find the kill onto Crime. Squeak going off the top rope. Going to get, I believe, Anti there is going to fall. So the Saints giving Full Sail a little bit of a window here to try to get back in this one.
But Emran is just playing melee Symmetra right now.
Skeet
what a
shooting.
Snipe on Ditto out of the air. Emran a little too deep off of that one, but you find 2 picks off of it. And look at where the team is at now. Crime backs up a little bit, but here's what I'm talking about. Now you got to make it past this bridge, and there's another turn you got to make. Karma falls off of these picks. Redex is able to find one. Redex has been in their backline this whole time still. He pops the solo Transcendence as that kind of bait. He gets to literally sit there and play intel while Crime continues sniping from the backline.
Yeah, and he was kicking it like Bruce Lee out there. Crime, if you breathe, you die. Crime takes out Ditto in this spawn, and we have seen Crime... Actually, we saw Crime and Emran have both played the Widow on this map and have had similar... I mean, if you had Deja Vu, this would look like a lot of other clips that we have seen the last few weeks. Crime just on this sniper rifle, relocating spot to spot, always finding these jump shots. You know he was feeling it with that one. The crosser was lined up just a little bit off target there. Sojourn gonna get a couple pop shots, but again, like Full Sail, you got 4 ultimates, you've wasted 35 seconds not using them. Now one of your DPS is dead again. You have to try and do something. You have to W key. You gotta pop Transcendence, because right now you're just losing.
If Crime is going to keep hitting these headshots, though, I don't even think even Transcendence can save you from that
it's something.
One.
You got 10 seconds and you haven't used it.
Fair
now they use it.
Enough, but I mean, considering we've seen Crime shots with that Sojourn railgun as well. I'm not surprised to see all the picks come out, but Crime and Grave fall. That's DPS and support down. Now, can they make the push is the question. There's 2 players on here, but Redex, once again, he's not concerned about that. He believes in the team here. He's playing for these picks off of spawn. He's fine with just allowing Squeak to hold down at this bridge, and he's able to play not only intel, know exactly when these respawns are coming through, but there's the pick from behind. Redex making the solo plays in spawn. No DPS for Full Sail. Full Sail still making this push. Window popped, and they've been able to kind of push Squeak and Crime back out of this corner, but Emran has now taken a hold of the bridge.
Yeah, and it is Crime time. 2 more down, 1 member low again. He's going to find the kill on Wizard, and it's all about the tempo of the game. Crime, I think he ends up with a quadra kill, all things said and done there, but it's a tempo of the game. The Saints are willing to give a little bit of payload space. They're like, hey, we know Squeak can single-handedly stall this point, and the second we find 1 pick, Redex is ready with that snap kick on the backline with that Zenyatta, ready to take out any of those members. So you can see that the Saints rely on Squeak to stall out, keep enough healing, because Zenyatta not going to be that primary healer anyways. You're going to be that DPS. You're sending the Discord orbs. You can send him to that backline, keep something like that Kiriko or something else to keep healing up that ball. And the Saints, you play the stall, and I mean, listen, Crime getting 6, 7, 8, 12, 14 headshots a game doesn't hurt either.
That's the thing. Like you said, Redex is there on that Zenyatta to throw the ball on the tank and pretty much play DPS with that
and
Discord orb.
Yeah.
I believe, I'm not sure the exact percentage. I think it's 25, 30% there from the Discord orb increased damage. Last time I remember 30%.
Something in that range.
Numbers get tweaked so slightly in Overwatch so often there that sometimes it's just hard for us to keep up here. But nonetheless, it's The Discord Orb is such a huge one there, especially when you can just melt the tanks too, and then allow Crime to deal with all of the other squishies on the map.
Yeah, it's been one of like the key, I guess, points of Overwatch 2 is because there is that one tank, characters like Ana and Yada, you're going to find so much more value because once that tank falls, typically the rest of the team is not going to be far behind unless there's some insane play. You have the beat drop, you have some kind of game changer in the back pocket. I wonder what Crime maybe he's thinking for Hero. Okay, he's going to go to the Widowmaker. I was curious if there was going to be some kind of adaptation. Full Sail looks like they're going to run that same 5. I don't think our Karma was on that Zen last time, so pretty much the same thing. If you're St. Clair, though, you only need 70 meters, and Full Sail, this is when this gets tricky. You have to, because you don't want to play that first corner, because if you lose that first corner, the game will be over. Now you have to play that second corner. You're automatically going to give the Saints 25, 30 meters, but they're going to have to find these first bloods to start these fights, or it's going to be a quick round.
Yeah, the first bloods have actually been coming through from both Fenrir and Karma there. We're able to find some picks as well as Ditto on that Widow. So as long as you can keep up with Crime in terms of one-shots, but how are you going to one-shot Squeak? Wait, why is Squeak back here?
He's ball. This is ball gaming.
Why not, man?
Listen, you literally, like, now he basically has the DPS trapped in spawn. So it's essentially a 4v4 for his team, and he likes his odds in the 4v4 when he's got Emran and the rest of the guys holding down the payload.
Yeah, as long as you can make it past Wizard there on the Sigma, like, he just gets to take the
and then
Zen
you just go
out
run,
of the
take
fight.
the health pack, go mess with Widow, whatever you want to do, take a stroll. That's exactly what his job is, get this back. Like, look at instantly on spawn, Squeak is a menace.
It's like the weirdest tank you've ever seen play, but Crime holding it down there on the Widow, make it
2 members.
3 from Emran, and look at the rest of them just being held up by Squeak. That should be
it will
map 3 question mark. There it
momentarily.
Is. That was last player. Squeak just had to rotate back onto that payload, but it's been, that was a series.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, Overwatch 2 seems to have a certain trend, at least so far in the year, the way things have been going. Now we get to see some of Crime's handiwork. I think we didn't get to see 1 or 2 of those shots earlier, so we're going to see, there's that first one, pops that ultimate. Oh, the flick shot onto the Tracer. Beautiful work. The grapple hook to swing over, finds the one onto Sigma. I believe he finds this next one as well. He does just that. So many heads getting clicked, and I mean, it's the same story we've seen for these DPS the last basically like 4 or 5 months now. They just, every time it seemed to impress in new ways, in new ways, in new ways. And now even like, right, the meta shifts. Squeak has a pretty decent hero pool, plays the ball, plays it flawlessly the first game, basically.
Yeah, at this point, I'm convinced Crime is a walking aim trainer.
Like, I mean, listen, his name is Crime.
Yeah, he's let's just say some of those kills looked like they should have been felonies.
I mean, yeah, wanted in 48 states and provinces. Yeah, Crime. I mean, the rest of the team knows all. I mean, we saw Grave sub in that last game as well. Basically, like, no drop-off. Like, when you, the thing is with new players coming in, when you don't call their name the entire game, that's usually a good thing and not a bad thing.
Yeah,
if we're calling someone's name and it's because of something bad, not what you want to hear. If you didn't get your name called, you probably played nice and safe, did your job, nothing went wrong, and you just supported the rest of the team.
And keep in mind, he replaced Arjunk in that game. Arjunk, someone who's rarely ever finds themselves on the kill feed, but whenever we find ourselves observing Arjunk, especially on that Baptiste, which Graves did take over there, amazing at just keeping the team alive. We talk about the immortality fields. We saw it there on Lijiang. Saved Saints on 2 straight pushes there that Full Sail definitely could have grabbed some percent on, but Arjunk coming in, clutching up with those, and of course, Grave continuing that, like you said, and just slotting in perfectly, and without missing a beat, they find that third map.
Yeah, and it seems to have a pretty good grip on the meta. They're definitely very comfortable on a lot of these maps. So this team, definitely a bright spot to look forward to. They're going to have some Overwatch collegiate action coming up this week. They're going to have some more NACE going down the line. But to go 2-0 in NACE to start things off, always going to feel good, especially. I don't think they dropped a map yet. I mean, I know they haven't. Last week was a pretty similar situation.
3-0.
Yeah, pretty similar situation. So back-to-back 3-0 to start the year. Not going to be too bad. But with all that being said, that is going to be the only match for tonight. So we'll begin to wrap things up here. Shout out to Amanda, Alex, Dan behind the scenes. A little bit of a smaller team today, but we get the job done nonetheless. So always a good time. Jobin and Fundy here to cover things off, but we will leave you guys. Have a happy Thursday. Take care of yourself. Have a good one.